Sorry about that. So this morning I'm gonna bust out a little persistence layer using a flat text file and a very tried and true method of uh, variable caching, key value caching. This is an ancient method. It's been done a lot. In fact, it probably would be completed by ChatGPT pretty quickly. Um, but we're going to go ahead and do it. This is also a really great exercise if you've never done any Go programming and you want to learn about file system interaction and safe file system interaction. It's a very, very, very common thing that's needed. And the one that I'm creating is pretty standard. It's pretty standard across the board. One of the things, however, I am going to do differently in this is uh, I'm going to I'm going to implement an interface so that other implementations can be used as drivers. So this is something that is pretty new and novel to Go, and I want to talk about what is acceptable to put into a driver, uh, and how to initiate a driver. What kind of things should go into the methods itself, and we'll get on with that. So let's actually start with the interface definition, which I've already done. So if you look at the interfaces here, then the calendar is a little bit off. Hi, Sina. So if you look at the interfaces, hey, Root Racing. So here's the interface. So I've set the interface for this in Bonsai as opposed to the sub package itself. This is all, of course, this is all in Bonsai in the branch there. You can go look at all this stuff in my RWX Rob slash Bonsai, Bonzai, if you want to follow the development there. Give me a like and a follow on there if you want to see the development that's going on for this. Pretty much all my development these days is going to be in the Bonsai branch because it's just a good place. It's a good model repo to put uh, all these utility packages for making your own commands and stuff. Mm. So let's start by looking at the interface and making a decision, talking about the decisions to include what how we decided, how I decided to what to include. There's going to be a lot of variety on this. Once again, this is in RWX Rob slash Bonsai slash PKG on GitHub. You can go check it out. So here is something that I've used. I'm going to just document this. A lot of this documentation is totally wrong. We're not doing the number returns anymore. We've changed that. So actually, I was going to do that at first. Let's talk about this design and how it's recently changed. So a vars driver specifically specifies the package persistence variables driver interface. All implementations must assign themselves to vars scope variable during init. That's not relevant. That is something that is related to Bonsai that I'll talk about later. So, but using this vars driver is kind of relevant. So, in fact, I've thought about, let's actually move it. Let's move the driver. Let's see here. Implementations must persist layer key value pairs. That's not true. Well, let's keep some of that. We're gonna move the driver. We're gonna move the implementation, this interface, to where the actual thing is. Let's do a tmux. Yeah. Okay. So we'll call this vars.go. And so a couple things here. So what the first one is, all right, so actually I think because this is in the vars directory, I think we can call it driver instead. And the name will be vars driver when people are implementing it. Vars driver specifies the package persistent. Let's see. Driver specifies a anything that implements a persistence layer Persistence means that stuff can be stored and retrieved later, even if the computer goes off and on. Uh, implements a persistence, anything that implements a persistence layer, primarily for high-speed caching. So Redis is a database that implements this. Of key value combinations. It's not primarily, it's only high-speed caching of key value combinations. This is different. We don't need that. Okay, so this is implementations can be, and we're actually probably going to make several drivers and have a collection of drivers here. So because some people might want to cache to SQLite. Implementations. I don't think it's can. I think we're supposed to say may use whatever technology, whatever, for storing the cache. But let's see, but must, and they can do their own reliability. I'm not going to say that, but must assume a, wait, let's see, but must represent the data in traditional key equals value pairs with, we should put this in fetch actually, with carriage return and line feed being escaped in the value portion of each line. Equals signs may be, this is actually a detail for the fetch command, but I don't want to gum up the works in the interface. I don't like it when people put all their documentation in the interface itself. I like it when they do it up above so that you can just get a quick feel for how the interface is implemented. What is an interface? Interface just says that anything that has this interface has these methods. And then you can use the interface just like it's a type anywhere else in the program, so that things across platform and stuff can implement the same interface, and you can just know you're going to be everything's going to be compatible. Value portion of line equals signs may be included. Equal signs may be included in the value without escaping, because it's just going to read the first. It's going to pick up the first equal sign. This key equals value combination thing has been around since the dawn of time, since computing began. It used to be white space, and that's a very traditional Unix configuration file. You have a key, and then you have a blank, and one or more blank spaces, and then you have a value. It's a very simple way to store things. The only difference here is that we're using an equal sign, and we're not allowing an extra white space. So we want it to be efficient. All right, so let's see. We don't care how the implementations persist the data. I can get rid of that. This is not as okay. This is also okay. I just did that. I just repeated myself. Okay, so it's always string data. It's not so that it can be immediately printed. It's not bytes data. A byte slice would be a thing that you might do instead. But this is designed for string data. We are going to change this to error. I thought about, I thought the errors were going to lock us into and would create, we're going to lock us into bonsai. They are not. So we can use an error. We can return an error to tell the status. In the case of get and set, that's how we're going to distinguish that value not being defined. Um, and I mean, if people want to look it up, right? So, so that is the interface. I do need to take a quick break. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Okay, so again, this is a rather boring thing to watch, but I tell you what, this is valuable if you want to be a Go person. So let's do that. We've got so here what we have. We have so the thing that we make, it should need to be able to get, set. This is called an accessor. Set, delete, fetch, and print. I mean, really basic stuff. In fact, it's called CRUD, create, replace, update, delete. Um, and you know, that's what it's called. So this is used for individual key value pairs. We have a method for fetching it, which gets all the key value pairs in a single string format in a file kind of, and then we have a print, which just which just prints the driver. Actually, we probably don't need that. Well, we can add that, but that's not required, right? And we should probably actually have like a bulk load. I think we should probably have something that takes a whole bunch of key value pairs and adds them all with more than one at a time. So rather than having to iterate over them, let's do that. So we have a get and set for individual pairs, and then we have fetch, which gets all of them, and then what do we want to call it? We could say save, and we could say save or load or add or I mean, get and set are kind of already the updated sort of thing. How about load? How about load? If we had load, let's say load. And load takes input. Key vals, string, error. Yeah. Bulk update. Multiple pairs. Okay, so there's a bunch of things like the driver doesn't have to know about where it's going to do it. We're going to actually do something pretty interesting here. So in this case, I've already written a lot of this code, so I'm just going to show you. So get returns the value of the key value pair stored in one or more of the following locations. So this is the implementation of driver, right? And so we have some methods that are going to do the work, and then we're going to have an object that implements this interface. Now we could probably put it right here. That's actually not uncommon. So the only reason to have a driver is if you want to have more than one of a thing that implements it. So let's actually make let's make a thing that implements it. These functions right here are more, well, I guess they can stay. But these are the helper functions that we're going to use. So vars.get does this thing. So these are the helpers, and we'll talk about that in a second. So let's make an implementation of this. So type so vars dot what do we want to say? What do we call it? Vars dot, it's the implementation. Map. And I actually already have this. You know what? Let's just let's stick with map here. So I have a separate file here. It has vars.map. Let's actually name it map. So, and this one will make, actually, we'll open up vars.go here and change this to vars. So, whoops. There we go, map and vars. All right, so this is where we can read about this, right? But we also put our helper functions in here. So we've already got the one helper function. We're going to do the match one next. And we're going to, these are all map functions. We're going to do these map functions next too. All right, so let's implement one of these things. So I already did some of this. So the blank line, we have a regular expression to do the blank line match. And, we want to, I had to make a decision about whether we want to support blank lines and comments. These things are traditionally really heavy duty when it comes to, if you allow you to put comments in there, they'll like, it's a cache. It's not designed for that. So we actually don't want any blank lines in there ever. And if there ever are blank lines, we want to delete them. In fact, we don't even want to detect a blank line. We wanted a blank line to break the system. So blank lines are, we don't want to silently allow them to sneak in. So we also don't want the overhead of compiling a regular expression, even though it's compiled this is compiled once at runtime. The reason that's there is because these loading functions are skipping any blank lines. Let's see. I should put that in the inner. This is a good kind of question to put in the interface. That's why you have an interface, because you need to set up all the rules, right? Blank lines and comments are not allowed. We don't want that. We don't want that. Okay, so and must always produce an error. So this is what interfaces are for. They're making the rules about how these things are supposed to be implemented so people can reliably use it. And so, yeah, we've got all of this up here. So actually, this means I can get rid of the blank line regex. I don't need it. And we can implement a map. And the map struct implements, if you wanted to, you could do it here. You could say implements var driver. And there is no, and if you've done Java, you know about, you have to pre-declare it. There's no declaration of this at all. While you're testing it, if you want to see if it's correct, you can actually do a little trick. You can actually say, I won't waste your time on there. You can actually say that it's a member of the interface, and then if it doesn't have all the right methods, it's not compatible, it'll give you an error, so you know that you're implementing the interface properly. So, I should go ahead and show you this. So you could say, let's see, var, I forgot how to do this. There's a little trick. I think I might have it in my Zet, or can interface. ChatGPT IDs response to cache map interface. This used to be called a cache map. It's not called a vars map. Casting goes slice to interface. Requires loop. Determine default IP interface and route. Command interfaces. Zero complex. Annoying go interface casting loops. Create customers go interface. Help check your interface. There it is. Trick to help check your interface. Here it is. So, yep. Because of All right, so that was it. So you can put this here. I'm gonna put that in here. So we wanna implement the interface is driver, which is in the same package. We can have these things be the same name. Sometimes it's hard to implement an interface in the same package because the name is the same, but not always. Um, Most of the time, if you do that, you can actually implement one using the lowercase version of the interface name, which is another trick. Uh, Equals a new map. All right, so cannot use map as value. This is what we were looking for because it's missing a delete method, right? So I'm gonna comment out all this code that I already wrote and let it kind of sit here so that we can implement the interface really quickly and then flesh it out. So we make sure that we're implementing the interface. Um, Upfront declaration of an interface is not normal. Actually, it really isn't. So we're it usually should never make an interface unless you know you have two of something is going to need it. And in this case, we do. In this case, people are going to be making their own var drivers so that they can implement. Hopefully we'll have a collection of them. We'll have people that implement var drivers that point to Redis databases, that point to Postgres's and stuff. Oh, nice. Good luck with that, Mario. And so then we have. So here we have the error that we were looking for, right? So this does not implement the driver. We're going to delete this later, by the way. You don't want that unnecessary line in there, but you can kind of just comment it out, so you can leave it in there for testing whether the driver is implemented properly. So let's actually go ahead and implement the interface. Now this is the kind of thing that ChatGPT might be able to do for me really quickly with boilerplate, and I'm actually going to try it. So I don't know, but we're going to try this. So implementing all the stubs for an interface, and then you can put the stuff in there. This is the kind of task that ChatGPT should eventually be really good at doing. Implement the following interface for a receiver called map in Golang. And I don't know if it's going to work. We're going to find out. This is one place where having ChatGPT on the command line, which I've had before with mods and stuff. I don't do it because it's expensive, because it uses the API as opposed to, I already paid $20, so. All right, so I'm wondering how well this is going to do. It probably is better tools for doing this kind of thing. There you go. This new map data, make map string. Yep. Get key, set key, error. This is pretty damn good. Fetch. Yep, I have most of the stuff I have written in other ways. Okay, so this is a really good copy. Thank you, ChatGPT. And let's go ahead and implement that. Have you done any list? Nope, I have not. So there it is. Let's go ahead. So here we go. Package driver. We get rid of this. We have our own map structure already. Now, what I didn't tell it is that we want to do. This is the locking. We're going to embed the lock so that we can lock while we do things, but we're also going to expose the internal map string so they can manipulate the string directly if they want. and the map is going to know about its persistence layer, right? These are details that are not required by the interface, but we're going to expose them so that they can be set at init time, like you would do with most drivers, whether a database or whatever. So this map we can get rid of. New map initializes the map, and with the stuff. I guess we can keep that. Data, make map, blah, blah, blah. No builds. We don't need this actually. No, actually we don't need this. We can just instantiate the map by itself. We can just use the new key, the new thing, and then set the file and then run load on it. So yeah, so that's we can get rid of that. What did I put? Was the interface name? Was it load? Okay, here we go. But I don't. Did you see this? See how this passes now because we've implemented the interface. All the methods are there. Get or choose the value associated with the key, returning an error if the key does not exist. That's kind of all right. So map get key string error val exists m.data. Okay, so this is actually going to do m.m instead of m.data, and that will pass. Key does not exist. Whether you want to do a new error here like this, or we want to do, I don't know. This you can just implement the error. I don't like doing errors like this. This is how I like to do errors. You could do not found, and then you can put the string in that, and then we're going to pass. If you do this, you can actually pass the key, and you can do the substitution kind of in a nice way. How are you? So undefined, not found. What time is it? All right, we have another 20 minutes. So not found, undefined, not found. So we're going to make that really quick. I actually already did this, I think. So let me go find it. Here it is. So let's bring this up here and put it by its where it's first used. You can put this in its in an error file usually. Why don't we do that? Let's put that in errors. I just do this as a standard thing. I always put all my errors in here so I can go add them. An error is anything in Go that implements an error method that returns a string. Anything, literally anything. But the advantage of doing this is that you can, as you can see, you can make a nice clean use of your errors, and then you can actually switch on the error, which is going to be really important. You can do a type switch and say, if it's a type not found error, then do this. And that is how you handle errors in Go usually. So it's a pretty easy way to do that. Also lets you deal with message strings better. So we're going to go ahead and return not found error. Set as or updates the key value associated with the key. We'll go ahead and do the set. Okay, so this is where things get kind of interesting. Because this is not persisting it. So get is kind of flawed in that it needs to be loaded. So we need to put some to do here. We can say fetch a fresh copy of cache file if it has changed. So the way our thing is going to implement it is we're going to actually check the file timestamps and see if the cache. Otherwise, we're going to use the in-memory copy. So that's what cache is. That allows other things to write to the cache and have the cache be uploaded even if the program is still running. Set as or updates the value associated with the key. Same thing here. And here we need to persist. We need to do with the save. And let's see. Let's see. Persist if the value has changed. So that's another thing. We could have set actually look for the value and see if it's the same and if it hasn't changed or not. But by then we've done so much work, we might as well just resave it. So persist if the value has changed. To do throw an error if something else has changed the cache file since last save. So there's, I'm just putting the to-dos here. Deletes the key value pairs. The key value pair associated with a given key. If it exists, delete it. So this is also going to need to save it, right? And then to do persist, we need that same thing. So we need a command here called something like sync, so that they can do it. We know we're going to need that. And then we have fetch. This is this is not good. We don't want this. We do want this, but not right now. Yeah, we probably want something like that. We do need to do the escaping, but it's on in the other direction. Join the results. Yep, there we go. So now in this particular case, we don't have to do this because we can just load the file. Yeah. So because the file has been persisted in key value format, so we don't need to do any of that, which is way more efficient. So return, no, to do read the file. Let's see. Sync and read. Sync and return string version m.string. All right, so we know we're going to need to do a stringer interface, a stringer implementation here. It's actually m.m. This is m.m key. And what else? We got to load it. So the load iterates over a key value pairs. It's splitting on the first line. Actually, we don't want to do this. We want to iterate. We don't. This is an in-memory. This is a horrible. I don't know why ChatGPT recommended this. The coder that wrote this is no. Because if the file's big, it's no. You want to do an iteration over a buffered string buffer. You don't want to load the whole string. I guess the key value pair is already there. Never mind. I take it back. So 419 range lines parse string split equals only do 2. So this is correct. Okay. Don't. If the length of parse is not equal to errors in value key value format. No, we don't want that. We want to force it to only split on the first one. If it's into substring separated by sub, returns a list of the cat determines the number of substrings returned. Greater than all, this is 0. Results is nil. Okay, we don't care about that. This code has already been written too, so. But let's we don't need this. The only reason you get that error is if the number that was split. I mean, I don't even know that way that was there. I shouldn't have either. String int. And just, yeah, I've already done that code. Look, we already have this. So to do use existing code. All right, declare to not use result. We don't need that right now. I mean, really, we can just sync the file and return it on this one. Okay, so this map, let's see, map data undefined. It's not data, it's m.data. This, we have lots to do here. So if we do the load, I don't know if we want to do load. I think we should probably call it set all instead. Let's do that. Let's do that. Then it'll be, when people are setting, they know they can set many. Set many, set all, set multi. Set M. What's another word here? Parse. Get set. Push. Set N. No, that would have an N on there. Set, I don't know. Split set, parse, set P. It's been a while. How you doing? Yeah, I've got a half hour. I gotta stop wasting time on this. We could say update. You like load? All right. Well, let's keep load then. Let's keep load. This should probably delete though. Should we spell it out? We should probably use full words. I go back and forth on that. All right, so let's change it to load. Generally loading, I use loading to refer to files and to open up the file and then load it in from the file. That actually is probably, we should call that read instead. I think load's probably better. Okay. So use existing codes. This is totally bogus. This code here needs to be redone. But I just needed the stub. Initiate, no. It's because it's not initiating it. It's iterating, it's adding the ones that are new. It's not rewriting the whole thing. We would have an init for that. So I'm probably gonna have an init. I took an init out of the interface because reasons. I was gonna make like a clear so that it like changes everything and gets rid of it. I thought about doing that. So anyway, we want stuff to be kind of like the same as other stuff. Anyway, so uh-oh. We got rid of the delete method. Okay, so del needs to change it to delete. Key value pair associated with a given key. Synchronizing do you spell that? Synchronizing the cache file and throwing and we need to put csync. Csync, how are you? Sync does not implement the interface. Hey Colcus, hey Woozy. I only have 20 minutes left, so let's see how far we can get on this. I'm going to rewrite this stuff. This stuff has already been written, so I just have to go add it, but I'm going to try to add it quickly. All right, so I think we got our interface implementation and stubs done, so let's actually go ahead and try to do it. Return nil. So there's a lot of things here that are not completely obvious. There's so many people who would just save it to a file without doing it safely. And I want to show you what I mean by that. So we got the driver. We'll come back to this later. This is a way. This particular driver is going to do more than just than search a file. It's actually going to search for a vars file at that location. It's going to search for a user cache of vars.properties in the user's cache if they have one. And if it doesn't have that, it'll look up the environment variable that matches the same name. So this persistence driver, this vars driver, is going to basically do what I always want. It's going to just be a universal lookup for stateful variables in my environment, no matter where they live. And I want that. I want that. I want the completeness of that, so that when I call something, I do a vars.get, I initiate it, it'll just end up going get it. This will end up part of the boost, yeah. All of it's going to end up a part of the boost when I do my whole thing. So this is we have to come back to this and implement this. We've commented out some of that stuff. So I mean, I hope people watch it, because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to say, oh, that's super easy, just write it to a file. Actually, no. It's much, much harder to do this safely, even without the prioritized layering of persistent variant cache sources. Even without that, there's a bunch of gotchas in this that people do. I see bad Go code that does file writes incorrectly all the time. You cannot just write to a file unless you are super sure there's not going to be a high demand for concurrency. And something like vars caching like this, where you might be writing every second or faster, and you might have other applications that are writing to a persistent file cache, you can't do that. That's why databases exist, is to provide asynchronous safe writes. And if you're using any file system, you have a big problem there, because you can't do it. So that's one of the reasons I've implemented this. So let's get into the guts of what I mean by that. And these external helpers are going to get us to where we need to go. This top level from file thing, this is vars.from file. What that does is that's just a short form. We should probably put new in front. I thought I was being clever by calling it just from, but let's actually put the new in front of it. And so okay, so now we need the code to actually do the persisting and do the reading of the files and do the synchronization, the loading and stuff, right? And in addition to that, my personal thing, I want to put a regular expression engine on it. I don't know if I want to mandate that be a part of the driver, although, you know what, I am going to do that. Linux desktop is horrible. No, absolutely not. I'll never, I mean, you can use it. A lot of people do. I would never do that. I'll never put Linux on my desktop again. No, it's too buggy and quirky and unsafe. You can do it though. There's so many people who disagree, and that's totally fine. I'm not. I have a whole Proxmox tower with as many VMs as I want, and then I have Anton as the VM running on Windows. All right, so let's do get, set, load, set, fetch. I'm actually going to add match. So match needs to take a regex as a string instead. And so that's what we're going to do. I would kind of like to make a default sort of thing, but we'll see. So what does match do? Antonia. It's the name of my tiny little virtual machine on my Windows machine, but I don't use it anymore. Regex is the string, and error. And then what? And then we're going to say PCRE. All right, so accessor. This is more of a query. It's a way to query it. My prop file name is exported because it's a constant. It's a constant, and people want to know what the constant name is, and that way it'll show up in the documentation. That's not part of the interface, though. It doesn't really need to be exported, but it's not hurting anything. I know it's one of the constants I have no problem exporting because so what, you know, if other people want to read it, that's fine. That's yeah. Yeah, I mean people that they don't have to use vars.properties. So this is used in my fetch implementation. That should probably go on the map instead. Yeah, let's probably put it here. Oopsie. Wait, what am I doing? There we go. All right, so this is used by was it fetch? Yeah. People can set their own, but yeah. Anyway, so kind of getting off track here. How much time we got? We got 10 minutes left. Okay. So we got a file, we got our driver. Okay, we're not implementing driver now. Because why? Because I added match. So let's do that. Match. Retrieves the value, retrieves with a key that matches the given regular expression. Returning an error if the key does not exist. All right, so there we go. So we could say regex. And this allows you to have a pretty basic database, right? So returning not found if the key does not exist. Okay, so I think we've got it all. I think we've got it all kind of designed, and now it's time to start implementing it, right? Um, yeah. Let's just make sure we've got everything. I don't want to overly think about the design, but I also don't want to have to rewrite everything. So let's give this one more. Let's give the interface another once over before we go. We probably are just going to be able to do the stubbing today before I have to go to work. Um, and then at lunchtime I'll come back and we'll work on it some more. Um, but yeah, if you want to see what you can come up with in the meantime, go for it. So the requirements are that it must, it must be safe for multiple reads and writes concurrently on the same system host, and um, and that's it. So the other methods, the init method, I don't think we should have an init method. I don't know. I wonder about this. The init method, we probably want to put in an init method that like clears out the data store for, you know, um, the problem with that is that um, I don't know. What do you think? What if we do we need an init just to make sure everything is good? Initialize. So when we call init, then you know, clear, reset, initialize. When we call init, that like goes back to like zero state, like it's ready to. The entire driver has been wiped out. It's like it clears everything. I think we should probably have that because why? Because somebody might want to be using the cache, and all of a sudden they might want to say, "No, I'm done with it. I want to like zero it out and clear it out." And but they want to use the same reference driver, so that is probably worth doing. Driver specifies anything that implements the persistent layer. Blah blah blah. How you doing, Chite? I'm not going to be able to be. I gotta go pretty soon. Mm. Oh my god. They ran out of licenses. And GitHub Enterprise Cloud, they ran out of licenses. They didn't judge properly. I don't. I can't. I gotta go to work. Um. All right, I gotta go to work here, guys. So there's stuff happening, and I'm on call. So anyway, so this is it. So let's go ahead and add a init. Let's add an init stub, and we'll come back and implement this. Um, I know a lot of you are thinking, "Oh, this should be really easy." No, it's not. It's not as easy as you think, and that's why I'm doing this video in a video form. So stay tuned. This will be the only video I do for a while. You'll have to fast forward through videos like usual. Uh, not upset about streaming? No, they don't care. No, because I've got the computer right here and I can see everything. Plus, I'm about to go work on stuff, so it's fine. As long as I mean, I'm remote, so as long as I get my stuff done. and nobody knows where I work, and I'm not telling. Please don't say. Um, and my normal time of day work day starting is 11. I usually work from about 11 to 5 or 6, and I already worked a little bit this morning before I streamed. I get up and then I do things, and then I stream a little bit, and sometimes I'll stream at lunch. And then at night, I do a lot of work at night. At night, I do a lot while I'm waiting for my wife and stuff once we get home, once she gets home. So, so yeah, I got it covered. But I do have a meeting with somebody to get past some Kubernetes problems I'm having. So that are I think they're related to how Kubernetes is implemented our storage classes at work. So yeah, you shouldn't. Nobody should know, and I appreciate you helping me maintain that. I wouldn't be able to stream if people knew. So because it's too sensitive. All right, so we have new from file. Let's stub that really quick, and then I'll be done. We got 3 or 4 minutes. Vars, go. No, let's. This is this is more of a map thing. Let's actually add a quick couple things here. So first thing, we need to add in a init, and we don't need anything here but an error. Did you return nil? So this is it ready? I mean, no, I wouldn't. I mean, you can. You're just gonna have to start changing stuff. We just some of the names are gonna change. Let me show you really quick. Let's finish this one. So, wait, use Baptist the driver method of match. Wait, where's our match? Didn't we already do match? Oh, right. Key value. Wait, what? Doesn't have a match type. We just did a match type. We just did it. Oh, match regex. Yeah. I'm glad I have that tester there. That's a good way to find problems. This will pass now. Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, you can try, but it definitely compiles. The reason I'm hesitant is, well, let's stop this video now, and then we can come back and talk about that. But have a look at it. Some of the stuff's going to change. Use the LCV to rename tokens instead of PerlPy. Yeah, but that doesn't rename documentation. As far as I know. If it does, let me know. Renaming documentation. Hey, Bellum. I have to go back. I have to go work. So that's the end of this video for today. If you're using the new syntax, it might know. That's one of the reasons I'm started to use it. So yeah, it's something you can do to research if you want to look that up for me. That'd be nice. But yeah, I have to go. I have to go do this. So I'll be maybe back at lunch. Maybe back at the end of the day. I don't know when. The schedule is a little bit off, everybody. So, hey, look, Agatha all along. We were watching Disney last night. Today, it says home lab. That's not happening. I have my home lab already. Critical mass is not happening. I can't. I've got too much shit going on. I'm putting on tons of weight, but I can't help it. I gotta finish this. So, what I was gonna say is the last thing I'll say just regarding Bonsai, this is all related to Bonsai sort of, is that we've changed the command interface is changing somewhat. It's not stable. So why does that matter? Not the interface, the command struct definition. So the command struct definition is, where is it? Where is my command struct? Is it at the top? I think it is. Where is it? At the top, right? Okay, so here we go. So this is going to change to alias. This is going to change. Hidden is going to change to hide. And these are like Go renames that might work. Let's try it. Invalid identifier to rename, hidden to hide. Right. You can identifiers, but you can't rename like structs and stuff. That's not a thing. We're actually going to add, instead of summary, this is going to be an alias. So for short. And I actually wanted to do both. Yeah. Description. Right. Long string. And the reason for this is because I want to be able to put the long forms in the embedded documentation. So, and Cobra people are going to know long and short. That's what they use. So we need to do that. That'll also keep everything compatible. So we had an other section before, and we're dropping that. You don't need it. You can just put that in your long description now. So that is what we're going to do. Here's the vars implementation of the default vars declaration, the completer. Func map is still func map. And we have the cache. All right, so there we go. That is going to be the new version. I don't anticipate that's going to change right away, but I just changed that, and as soon as I save, it's going to break everything. I don't think it'll break everything, but it'll break a lot. So, I mean, the vars thing, we gotta do that. Okay, we need to make a new from if we're gonna do this. All right, so let's make a new from. Func new from file string. This is not part of the interface. This is just for this particular implementation. And that's going to return a new map and error. Pretty standard thing there. Return nil to do. This is already, that's kind of been written already, but yeah, I feel the analysis. Here we go. Let's actually change hidden to hide. Go test. Let's change. Where is that? Let's change aliases. Alias. And vars new. So bonsai.go is going to be vars driver. It's going to be, okay, so here's the init. This is the init function that I was talking about. We're not going to do new from. We could do new map, or we could just do new map. New map is safer. It's definitely safer. Let's do that. New map. We could make that the same thing and then have a variable, argument interface as the same one, but we could do this instead. These have all got implementations already. So new map from file. I like this because then if you know what you want, you don't have the extra code to run. So, and then we set up the user cat, we get the directory, we set the exe name. Actually, we don't need to do any of this anymore. So there's no such thing as ID anymore. We moved all of that. So this is gone. We can set the internal file. Here. User cache directory. So, I mean, all of this initialization we can do later. vars is a var driver. Views undefined. Actually, we don't need to define it right now. You can have an undefined vars driver, and you can do everything without the package level vars driver. That's just so that you can change it. But this is how you do. This is generally speaking, if you're going to have a driver and interface of some kind, init is where you set everything up for the specific interface, for the specific driver. All the specific implementation details go into init. Require the user to do this initialization. We could say everybody needs to run init when they first run. The problem with that though is that I had another thing called soft init because you don't want to blow away, and the whole point of persistence is you don't want to reset, right? You want to pick up what's already there. You only want to make a new one if it doesn't exist. I used to call that soft init, but the problem with that is you can't have init and soft init together, right? So if you want a way to clear it, maybe we should say clear instead of init. Init generally means reinitialize the whole thing and say it's completely empty. But we can't have people calling that every time because it'll blow away the pre-existing cache. It defeats the whole purpose of persistence. So we either say that init needs to only create a new one if it's not there in this implementation. It really init depends on, but we need to define the behavior in the interface. In the interface, we should say, and that's actually something to consider here, is we would say, and we actually need to go through and document every one of these. And my preferred way to document things is like this. I will actually do a little one-liner for it. Initialize, blah, 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 because I don't want to force people to look through they can't see the whole interface, so they have to, initialize a new cache if one does not yet exist. So must never over or clear or delete a previously initialized cache. So I do think we probably need a clear as well that deletes everything. And the really important thing here is that clear cannot it cannot change the internal references because we don't want to break them because they've been exported. So So yeah, so empty every key value pair. Delete. Must never clear or delete previous input cache. What does clear do? So the problem is I don't want people to have to call clear and init every time, right? They should call init every time something kicks off. And the thing that's cool about that is if we do that, then they don't have to have the. If we make it so that in order to use the driver, you have to call init, then that actually really simple. I like this. That actually really simplifies this call because instead of all this, we just do this. We just say, you say, well, we're gonna have to tell it where to put the cache. So, and then, yeah, I don't even know. I mean, we could make a driver that actually this isn't, but we could make a driver that infers the cache for the person, right? So like if we just called init, then we could say that could be the default behavior, and then we wouldn't need soft init. Yeah, let's do that. So then we could just do equals vars new map, and then oops, and then we just do var dot init. That makes initialization really easy. And the reason this would be nice is that if we put the intelligence in init to know where to write the persistent cache, then you know what we should do is we should say, okay, I'm already on the path here. I gotta go work. Vars. Okay, so let's talk about the implementation for a second. So, whoops. So, how come we have two drivers? Oh, map.go. So, wait, am I got this wrong? No. Okay. So this here, let's do this. Let's say init. So, to do if file is empty, infer it from the current user and binary name. That's not very hard. I know. Shut up, Bellum. If the file is empty, infer it from the current user and binary name. If somebody calls init and they haven't explicitly said it, then we're going to infer which one they want to use. That's beautiful. I'm really excited. I want to actually write that. So I don't know if this is a working commit, but I'm going to go ahead and commit it because I don't want to lose it if my power dies or something. Or my disk drive dies. I always get so paranoid. I renamed everything. Undefined new from. New map from. Do. It's just a shortcut. Here's the thing, though. I'm going to use this at work. This particular library is going to get used a lot at work. I don't know, just because I jinxed it, right? Web type driver. Yeah, this is how I was doing it. This whole new map thing. Wait, it doesn't. I got rid of. I added another method. Oh, let's get it to compile at least. We'll come back to it. Clear. It should pass now. Damn it. New map returns 2. Bonsai go 27. New map returns an unar bar and an error. Well, we need to just have that be empty for now. It's going to be at a knit time though, so we're going to have to be interesting there. All right, so I do not know if bonds are going to actually build. So I'm going to try that. Bond tab. What? Did we change it? I must have changed it. Hey, Chris. Oh, Christian. I see your name there. Why is it doing that? I must have changed it. Yeah, I did. I changed bonds. The problem is, I mean, the fact is that it compiled, so we're good to go. That's what I was afraid of, is it wasn't going to compile. Git div. Okay. Go test. Git add. Git commit. This M. Work in progress. But compiles. Commit. There you go. So you go have fun with it and play with it. I gotta go. I just have to I will give a raid like 2 minutes. Anybody have somebody to raid? I can just raid Prime again. Yeah, I don't have time to screw around, so create a dashboard. Hey, look, a whole $86. I like raiding, so might as well. See you later. Ugh. I am going to move my other work computer over here so I can work on it.
Which is like a very small fraction of everything. I believe, if I remember correctly, suicide's also been on the rise, right? It's pretty tough.
All right. So
RWX Rob,